First of all, it's worth noting that my sister is 23 years old and I am 21. We are women and not particularly close. In fact, our closeness has never been a strong point of our relationship. During high school, it became evident that I suffered from mental illnesses. This period in my life was full of trials. At that time, my sister was embarrassed of me. She sometimes told people that we were not sisters, which she continues to do now depending on the company. In one instance, she even encountered problems because of a teacher in high school who was a family friend and knew about our relationship. Despite this, my sister adamantly denied in class that we were sisters, called the teacher a liar, and accused me of being a pathetic person whom nobody wanted to know. She also expressed her unwillingness to be seen with me in public. If our parents wanted us to do something together as a family, she said it was humiliating for her, and she wouldn't allow her reputation to be tarnished by being around a girl who was called a psycho in school after I had a nervous breakdown in class. Our parents insisted that my sister attend therapy sessions with me, which they also joined. The idea was for all of us to better understand my experiences. Although the therapist didn't like it, my parents insisted, and I shared my feelings. I still regret this decision. The therapist explained to me that my anxiety attacks, intrusive thoughts, and depression required attention and treatment. After that, my sister advised me to listen to these thoughts more often, claiming that they sounded particularly accurate and could be helpful. I could assume that the reason for all this is that our parents paid more attention to me. However, that's not the case. They often ignored me, while my sister always attracted attention with her charm and popularity. It was harder for me. I suffered from anxiety and uncontrollable emotions. Prolonged ignorance only exacerbated my condition. I suppose my sister treats me this way because of the crisis in my mental health that occurred during my school years. Many talked about this incident at the time, and I feel she never forgave me. Now she has met someone in college, and they are planning to get married. This has caused disagreements between me and my parents. They insist that I should attend the wedding, but my sister wouldn't mind if I didn't come. However, her relatives asked questions, so now she insists on my presence. She even said that my pathetic life can wait a day for me to make her life easier. Her fiancé warned me to take medication and practice, smiling so his family wouldn't realize how weird I am. My sister also advised me not to tell some of his friends that I'm her sister because she has distanced herself from me again. His parents know about this whole situation and understand how bad it will look if I'm not there. But I refuse to go, sticking to my no. I explained to them that I don't care about maintaining appearances. Certainly, your parents have allowed your sister to shirk responsibility, which raises questions. It seems like your sister has a protagonist syndrome. It would be helpful for her to undergo therapy to understand why she behaves this way. There's no need to sacrifice yourself for someone who isn't willing to do the same for you. Respect should be mutual. You can tell her that if she didn't want a sister, she doesn't have one now. If she doesn't want people to think badly of her, she shouldn't behave badly. There's no need to behave in a way that makes others wonder how their behavior might worsen your problems. Just like a coach putting a bandage on an athlete's broken leg, you shouldn't hide reality behind a pretty facade. Pull yourself together, buy a new book, stay home, and spend the day as you like, recovering and enjoying peace. You can tell others that you won't participate in a performance for ungrateful and toxic people. Stay strong. You don't have to go to the ball like Cinderella. The groom's comment would only worsen the situation if you even considered giving your sister a chance. Don't go and tell your parents that their daughter no longer has a sister, as she always wanted. If they insist, you can give a sincere speech, telling the truth about how they treated you, and then stop communicating with them. You deserve better treatment from those who are supposed to love you. Next story. Currently, I am 25 years old. 2 weeks ago, I got married. My husband, who is 27, and I paid for most of the wedding. However, my father covered some expenses. My father's friend Stella has a daughter, Zoya, who is studying fashion design. When I started planning the wedding, Zoya offered to design and sew my wedding dress. I hesitated, as choosing the dress was an exciting moment for me. Knowing little about Zoya and considering that my father had been dating her mother for only 2 years, I still decided to give her a chance. It could have been a great opportunity to bond. Moreover, I had seen some of her work. She had sewn a couple of evening dresses in college that seemed worthy to me. We met several times to discuss dress ideas. I realized that our tastes differed significantly, but we reached an agreement on the design. I provided Zoya with my measurements and asked her to keep me updated. However, when I inquired about the progress, Zoya said she would send photos upon returning home but never did. The work took longer than expected. A month before the wedding, I received the dress, which did not match our agreement at all. It was the wrong color and style. The dress looked as if it was made for Zoya, not me. When I tried on the dress, it turned out to be 3 sizes too big. Although it could have been altered, I realized I didn't want to wear this dress for the wedding. I called Zoya and honestly told her I wouldn't wear it. I noted that the dress looked beautiful, but not in the style we had discussed. I offered to pay for her work, although she had sewn the dress for free. Zoya refused the money and hung up. Now I'm going to switch to another dress to perfectly match my vision for the wedding day. I walked down the aisle in a dress I bought myself. During the ceremony, Zoya seemed on the verge of tears. Stella threw judgmental glances at me throughout the reception. When they approached me, the communication was brief and restrained. Sometime after the start of the reception, my father, Stella, and Zoya left, not staying there for even an hour. The next day, my father and Stella called me. They expressed their dissatisfaction with how I treated Zoya. It was her first experience sewing a wedding dress, and they were sure she wanted to see me in it. They said my decision not to wear the dress she had worked so hard on was hurtful. I tried to explain the reasons for my choice, but they insisted that the dress was beautiful and that I should have worn it. My husband and younger sister supported me, unlike Zoya. I felt guilty for not wearing the dress, feeling awkward because of the whole situation. You're not an idiot. Zoya showed disrespect by ignoring your wishes as the dress's client. She should have listened to her clients. Moreover, if the dress turned out to be too big, it indicates her mistake in the work. Return the dress to Zoya and let her know that you appreciate her efforts, but it's not the outfit you wanted. You and Zoya agreed on this. Your father and her mother should understand that Zoya needs to consider her clients' opinions, especially when it comes to wedding dresses. I wonder if Zoya was trying to draw attention to your wedding by creating such a situation. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that the dress was 3 sizes too big, which is a typical novice mistake. She should have listened carefully to what you said about the dress's style. I suppose she even took notes and sketches, but it didn't help. She seems to have selective memory. I bet the final size of the dress was closer to Zoya's size. Listen, she knew you wouldn't wear this dress. You told her about it a month before the wedding and explained the reasons. She had enough time to come to terms with it. At the wedding, she cried, and her mother, upon learning why you didn't wear the dress Zoya sewed, became angry with you. If they wanted to avoid conflict, they could have discussed the issue before the wedding. Now I want to tell a different story. I organized my own birthday party because I was sure my husband and kids wouldn't handle it. My fears were confirmed. For the party they planned for my 40th, they only ordered an ice cream cake and takeout pizza. At home, I always try to create special moments for my husband and kids, but they don't show initiative in return. For my husband's birthday, I gave him an impression of NASCAR in Vegas, and for my daughter's 16th birthday, I saved up all year to give her a MacBook Pro. My son is only 10, so I couldn't rely on him to take charge. That's why I decided to organize my own party without telling them. My best friend came to watch the house, and my husband and I spent the weekend in the city. We saw the musical Back to the Future. When we returned, a delicious lunch awaited us. All our friends and family were at the party. My husband and daughter received many compliments for the organization. However, after the guests left, they both expressed their dissatisfaction to me, claiming that I put them in an awkward position by not sharing my plans. I asked what they had planned for my birthday. They replied that my plans had put them in an awkward position. I suggested they explain to the guests at the party what they had planned, but they weren't ready to do that. I noted that I understood their reluctance to plan and didn't object to it. I suggested they could enlist the help of my friends or those who enjoyed planning if it would help them. I added that in the future, they could plan their own celebrations and mine. We could alternate organizing events for our son. The next day, my husband apologized, admitting I was right. My daughter was still upset, learning that I'd pointed out she put more effort into planning her boyfriend's birthday than mine. I felt awkward, thinking maybe everything would have been better if I had let them take credit. You've become the subject of criticism because your actions made your teenage daughter feel guilty. It's too early for her to take on the organization of an extravagant celebration for your 40th. Obviously, she doesn't have the financial means for expensive gifts. Besides, she's still a teenager. For instance, I'd be happy if my daughter decided to celebrate my birthday with an ice cream cake and a family movie night. You should have felt fortunate. Nevertheless, your approach to organizing your own birthday was perceived as hurtful. Your behavior led to your daughter feeling conflicted with guilt. This caused indignation. Planning your own birthday is a normal desire if you're not confident in your husband's ability to organize a celebration. You should have openly expressed your expectations instead of creating complex situations. Opie, it seems, cared about the details. She probably wouldn't have been upset to find a homemade breakfast with favorite treats and a caring note. It would have been a gesture she would have appreciated, as she didn't receive it. Her family took responsibility, and everyone congratulated them without revealing the true situation. It's good that your husband admitted his mistakes and apologized. Your daughter has the right to feel embarrassed, even if she doesn't ask for forgiveness. It's an experience she'll remember. My next story. I'm 29 years old and I'm a woman. I've been dating my boyfriend, who is 2 years older than me, for about 6 months now. He's a wonderful person, very loving and caring. However, our only problem lies in the difference in background and upbringing, which leads to different views on gender roles in friendships. For me, friendship between men and women has always been normal. My mom had male friends and my dad had female friends. In fact, my mom's best friend is my godfather and my dad's best friend is my godmother. My boyfriend holds more traditional views. He believes that men should only be friends with men and women with women. He's okay with casual acquaintances with the opposite sex, but nothing more. The issue is that my closest friends are men. It doesn't mean I have trouble interacting with women. I have many female acquaintances. Plus, I have great relationships with my friends' wives and girlfriends. My situation evolved because of my professional field. I'm a researcher in a male-dominated area. Most of my friends are people I've met at work, in college, or while working on my doctoral dissertation. Most of my friends have girlfriends or wives. My best friend lives with his boyfriend. There has never been anything inappropriate or ambiguous between us. I always thought it was normal to hang out with one or more of my opposite-sex friends for a drink every couple of weeks. I prefer one-on-one hangouts. Being quite introverted, I believe serious and deep conversations are better held one-on-one. I invited them over to my place or visited them in their apartments. Sometimes we talked until morning. But, I repeat, nothing beyond friendship ever happened. I also had plans for summer vacations with friends. My best friend, who lives with his boyfriend, and I regularly spent time at our favorite bar. With a group of fellow doctoral students, we went to the nearest lake for a few days. Their girlfriends and wives sometimes joined us, and sometimes they preferred to stay with their friends. None of them ever showed jealousy. My ex-boyfriend, whom I was with for 5 years, also never had issues with my male friendships. We parted ways amicably when he got a job abroad, and I decided to stay and take care of my aging parents. Both my ex and my friends' partners have progressive views on male and female friendship, considering it as natural as I do. My current boyfriend expressed dissatisfaction with this. I tried to understand him and offered a compromise. I suggested meeting my friends only in public places. I no longer invited them over or visited their apartments. During such meetings, I regularly texted my boyfriend every half hour to let him know I was thinking about him and not doing anything suspicious. However, he said that wasn't enough. He admitted he would prefer me to only hang out with my friends in his presence. At the very least, he agreed that I could occasionally meet one of my friends one-on-one, but only during the day and for just an hour or two. I was upset to learn about these conditions, especially since he often drinks with his friends and doesn't even answer my calls and messages when he's not at home. He claimed it's a completely different situation because he doesn't have female friends among his circle. He suggested I make new female friends. He argued that he wouldn't mind if I spent a night out with girlfriends. I suddenly interrupted the conversation, unable to find a response. Friends aren't just replaceable like furniture to me. They're really important, and I've contemplated ending these friendships. However, I'm afraid that when the infatuation fades, I'll regret such a decision. After all, then I'll be completely alone in these relationships, as my boyfriend is my only significant interpersonal connection. I'm still wavering, considering his conditions, but leaning towards leaving. However, it will be very difficult for me. After all, in everything else, we get along great. I feel like I'll look foolish if I leave solely for this reason. You're not foolish. This is a very important reason for breaking up. No partner should restrict the other's choice of friends. Perhaps you already understand this. Control won't stop at male friends outside of work. Your boyfriend is gradually expanding boundaries and will go further as far as you allow. Soon he'll want to control your phone, email, social media, etc. Then, maybe it'll be unacceptable to have even single women as friends. And why should you work in a field dominated by men? The next question might be about whether you flirted with colleagues. It has nothing to do with you. It's entirely related to his insecurity. You can't heal someone else's insecurity by changing yourself. You need to ask yourself if your boyfriend respects your boundaries and trusts you. Or you need to decide if you want to stay in a relationship where you're not accepted and trusted. Think about it. It's only been 6 months, and he's already dictating what you can do. Sorry, but your boyfriend is behaving incredibly insecure and controlling. You're really smart for considering the possibility of breaking up. Don't give up healthy friendships for an insecure partner.